Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. Today we're going to talk about the Disney Skyliner. I know, old news, right? Like, it's been open for a few months now, but I got to experience it for my first time in December, and I wanted to put my opinion out there. So sue me if I'm late, but this is just my thoughts of the experience of riding it. So the route that I rode the Skyliner was the same route twice, back and forth, and it was the Epcot to Hollywood Studios route, which means that there is a changeover. I did this on Friday and Sunday of my trip. Went from Epcot to Hollywood Studios and back, and I have to say, I loved it. I think it might be my new favorite transportation system. Now, I know that it had its problems in the beginning. We all know the news of when there was that crash that happened as one of them was coming into the station. Luckily, no one was hurt. And it came to light that it was human error, not actual mechanical error. And I don't know if that makes it better or worse for people, but it hasn't happened since. And I did have that in the back of my head. Obviously, like, that's a bit scary, and you saw all the photos of people being like evacuated, and I have a lot of anxiety about being trapped in places. It's not a claustrophobia, really, that's not what it is, but because of my IBS, I get panicked when I cannot leave a situation, because my worst case scenario is, what if I need to use a restroom and I can't get to one? So being in a bucket in the sky and thinking about that would definitely be super anxiety inducing for me. So yeah, it was in the back of my head for sure before I got on it, and even knowing that sometimes there is lags, there are sometimes slowdowns depending on if they're, you know, loading someone in a wheelchair or anything like that. So I anticipated this and was a little worried, but I can say that in my 4 flights, I guess you can technically say, I guess it's actually 8, if you count how many times I went on different ones, I had 0 problems, 0 stops, just no issues whatsoever. So I count myself lucky for that, but it definitely made me feel a lot better knowing, just experiencing like pretty smooth experience overall. So my first experience was going Epcot to Hollywood Studios, and I was actually with Rob, and he was kind of explaining it all to me as we were getting on. Now, I love gondola Skyliner systems. I've been on them many times. We have them at like the Bronx Zoo. I've been down San Diego Zoo. I've been on a huge one that's actually used for commuting in Colombia. Like, I have no fear of these things. I don't have fear of heights or anything like that. So that wasn't new to me. It was something I totally embraced, but it was great to kind of experience it. We had our own car, I guess you would call it, going from Epcot to that little like transfer hub. Is there a name for that? I actually have to look this up right now because there's gotta be a name for it, it's Disney, but we were calling it the transfer hub. But it was nice to have our own car. It was really cool to see backstage and all the work that they were doing on Epcot currently. So that's like a neat little perk right now, is because of all the work that's going on, you kind of get this awesome view of what they're doing, the expansion of France, all that cool stuff. There is a point that Rob was explaining to me that is the highest point where you can see every single park at once. It's when you're going from Epcot kind of up. You can see the castle, Tower of Terror, the Tree of Life, and Spaceship Earth. It's kind of in a brief moment, but it's possible, and that's really cool. So then we went across the highway, not really exciting, a little scary actually when you think about it, and then down into the Riviera Resort, which at the time was not open, so you couldn't get off. There were just people there letting you know just to stay on and keep going, which was essentially what you did. So we kept going. It makes a little turn. There's like this cool little turn station, and it tells you on these like announcements, explains different things, tells you different facts, and then you go into what I guess is also your access to Caribbean Beach, and is like that little, what we were calling the transfer hub, because when you get off, you now have the option to go towards Pop or to go to Hollywood Studios, and it's all very easy. They have a bathroom there. Kudos Disney, putting bathrooms everywhere. And then that's it, you hop onto Hollywood Studios. So from Epcot to the transfer area was, I wanna say, about 10 minutes. From that area to Hollywood Studios, probably 5. It's a lot shorter than the first leg of the trip, for sure. One of the things I didn't really like about the Skyliner is I almost feel like the announcements were too common. When I was trying to have a conversation, even when I was vlogging at one point, I was laughing because I just felt like I couldn't get a word in edgewise. It just was hard to talk when that announcements and the facts and all that kept coming on, and it was kind of like, it was intrusive. So I think if they could dial that back a little bit, I think it's cool for right now, but I think I would eventually like them to dial it back a bit. Now, another thing that some people complained about was that there's like no music or anything like that when you're in the cabins, but honestly, I kind of didn't mind it. Some people said that they want music or, you know, have it tied to maybe the character that you're sitting in, though I don't think I had many character cabins, which was great actually because you get a better view without them there, but I was okay with the silence. It didn't really bother me, but I kind of think that's why they have those announcements, is like they want to fill that silence so it's not weird. But I would almost rather, if I had to choose, I'd rather music than the announcements. Again, I just found them kind of like intrusive. I mean, it was kind of cool, I guess. They were just talking about, I don't know, like the stretch of the highway and whatever. I mean, it wasn't, nothing obviously got into my brain because I don't really remember the facts they were saying. But I guess if I had to choose some not too intrusive music, I think would be better than an announcement every 2 minutes. That's just me. And then some people have also said, why not have some of the announcements be in characters as well? So, you know, if you get on the Coco cabin, then it's like Miguel or something talking to you. I think that'd be super neat. And I would hope not too hard for them to do. So I'm totally for that idea. I've seen that idea being floated around on Twitter. I think that's an awesome idea. Boarding on and off is pretty easy. It's actually a little weird getting off. I feel like getting on, no problem. Getting off, you're going from this moving thing to stepping off onto solid ground, and you just kind of have this weird jerky moment where you're just like, yeah, this isn't moving, but your brain thinks it should be moving. It's kind of weird. So take your time getting off. Also, don't do what I saw this one couple do, which is they were being told to board onto the cabin, and the woman runs to the door, and her husband stays on the platform to take a photo before he jumps on. And even the cast member was like, okay, you need to like get on the cabin, like don't take this photo. So don't do that, guys. Like, I know it's cool to stand in the door and then take that photo, whatever, but it's also dangerous. So take your photos in it, or I don't know, in front of it somehow, but not when one person's on it. And no, it wasn't good. Also, I would say don't be dismayed by long lines. I think the longest line I constantly saw was to Epcot, which makes sense because of the holiday festival. But it always moved very, very quickly because, again, this thing is always moving. So even if you're like, oh my God, the line for the Skyliner is crazy long, I promise you, you're not gonna wait more than like 5 minutes, if that, to get on, because they're just constantly loading people on there, which is really impressive. They've got it down really well to be pretty efficient. I think right now it's sad to say, but the monorail has seen better days, and I'm more nervous riding on that than I am on the new Skyliner. I have seen more things happen there, more breakdowns, and it's just not as good as it used to be. And even with some of those like inner car refurbs, they really need to just get newer trains on the monorail, and until they do that, I feel like I actually kind of avoid taking it now, which is sad to say, but it's true. I do love the boats. That's probably my second favorite way to get around Disney World is, you know, friendship boats and the ferry and the boats from the resorts that have their own boat lines. Like, that's absolutely lovely. I think that's super, super nice and very relaxing. But I also think the Skyliner is very relaxing as well. It's just a different point of view and is really, really efficient and well done, and definitely can like see how it'll draw more people to stay at certain resorts on the Skyliner line if it's something that you enjoy taking and you trust and you're good with. Like, yeah, I mean, having that go to Pop and Art of Animation, you know, the new Riviera Resort and all of that is like amazing. Like, what a perk for people staying on property at those resorts. I also wonder if it means we're gonna see a jack up in price at Pop and Art of Animation and all that. We shall see as things move forward. It already looks like they're getting a little up there, which is a shame, but I totally understand why they would be able to do that now, because they can say, like, look at this new extra mode of transportation we're offering you. I get it. It would be really cool if one day they expanded it even further to other places, but right now, I think for what it is, it's really great and such a nice new way to go from Epcot to Hollywood Studios, and essentially I think thin out crowds going other ways. So it's a win to me. So those are my thoughts on the Skyliner. I would love to know in the comments below if you've been on it. What were your thoughts? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you like, no thank you, I'm never getting on that thing? Let me know. I always like to know what you guys think about new stuff in the parks. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, you should subscribe. I make videos every single week. Yeah, that's it. Go Skyliner. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of the day. Bye.